from the iHeartMedia Studios. A Professional Edge by G. Todd, tax attorney CPA and certified financial planner, is providing general information related to taxes, investments, and estate planning. This information is not to be perceived as providing individual legal, tax, or investment advice, as each individual's circumstances are unique. Being a listener does not create an attorney/CPA or an investment advisory client relationship. Each individual's personal situation is different, and seeking one-on-one advice with a licensed professional is recommended. Securities and fee-only investment counsel is provided through Schwab Institutional Member SIPC. This is Professional Edge, a program designed to help you understand the importance of getting counsel and advice from a licensed professional and help you appreciate the significance of being able to integrate your investments, tax planning, and estate planning into one cohesive plan to prevent an unintended consequence. We will be talking with G. Todd of Estate Management Counselors, LLC. Estate Management Counselors, LLC is an independent fee-only investment management firm based in Atlanta with a satellite office in Columbus, Georgia that serves select clients throughout the country. Their goal is simple: to make sure their clients feel confident and secure about their financial future. Scene is a truly qualified professional. He is a licensed tax attorney, a CPA, and certified financial planner. He is also an adjunct income tax professor at the University of Georgia. One unique thing you might not know about Scene: he attends the National Rodeo Finals each year. We will be talking with Scene.
I appreciate you listening to the Professional Edge. An exciting show today. What's the plan for 2024? Can you believe we are already halfway through February of 2024? Valentine's Day is upon us. The big game, Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. We have the 49ers, and we also have the Chiefs. Wow, that's going to be a good game. I'm sure Taylor Swift is going to make it and everybody's going to tune in. But what's your plan for 2024? And the reason why I ask that is we always have these New Year's resolutions, and we always say, hey, you know what? 2024 is going to be a new year, new and different. I'm going to get a whole lot of things done. And when we say that, then we may even write those down. If we write a goal down, then we have a 5 times improvement on accomplishing what we actually write down. That's what I've read in, getting things done, things to do. So on your top 3, what are your top 3 things you want to get accomplished for 2024? Well, number 1, a lot of people say, it's time to update my estate plan. My kids, when I drafted my original estate planning documents, they were minors and we had to address guardianship, and lo and behold, turn of a switch and they are in college. They're young adults, or they may even be having their own household and thinking about starting a family themselves. So this is a wake-up call. And the best place to go to get started on your estate plan is go to our website, emcadvisors.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie Advisors.com. And you'll see the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. And that is where you can request that and basically attain that. And that gets you started on your estate plan. Again, that's emcadvisors.com, and look for the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. So what's the plan for 2024? We're talking about your estate plan. That's all good and well, and we need to address your assets may have increased because we're hitting these all-time highs in the S&P 500 index, a NASDAQ. Everyone has this wealth effect, but yet we have this inflation, which has finally come off the peak, but consumers are spending. And yes, I'm jumping all around because there is a lot going on in 2024. So we have consumers, which is basically responsible for 70% of the consumption and the GDP. So when we look at that, where is consumption coming from? Well, we know mortgage rates are about 7% for a 30-year mortgage. So therefore, individuals that are at that 2.5 to 3.5% mortgage rate are not selling. So if those individuals are not selling, then the supply of housing is decreased. And if we all know in macroeconomics, if there's a decrease in supply, then prices go up. So when prices go up, then we have to look at the affordability of having a mortgage at 7% on $300,000 versus 2.5% or 3% on a $300,000 mortgage. And then we have to look at the affordability of that. Well, that cuts out a lot of potential buyers. on that. So again, I think housing is going to be stuck for a minute until the Fed actually reduces rates. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother program. But getting back to what's the plan for 2024? Your estate plan has to be in place. Otherwise, the great state of Georgia or whatever state you're in is going to have a laws of descent and distribution to distribute your estate. And going back to that stock market being very good to you, we have this wealth effect. So therefore, you may have more assets than what you had when you did your estate plan, let's say a decade ago. Things have increased. Your real estate value has increased. The 401k value has increased. Your other investments have increased. So with that in mind, one thing you might not want to do is just leave everything outright to your surviving spouse. Why would I say that? Well, we have longevity, and therefore we're seeing a lot of individuals where one spouse passes away, let's say in their mid-60s or early 70s, and lo and behold, that surviving spouse gets married. Men are more likely to get married than women. So with that in mind, if we also have that easy I love you will plan, then when that husband passes away, he has that I love you will, and that new spouse is going to receive everything. And that could be to the detriment of the children of that first marriage. So one way to protect that is in your estate planning documents is to have what is known as a testamentary trust. That basically says, I do love my spouse and I'm going to give you everything, but I'm going to give you everything in a trust. And therefore, you're allowed to have access to it for health, education, maintenance, support, but you're not allowed to give this trust away to your new spouse, because the ultimate beneficiary is going to be our kids of this first marriage, and therefore I'm going to guarantee that whatever's left over is going to go to the kids, not the new spouse. So that's one thing to check on, because if your estate planning document says I give everything to my surviving spouse, my surviving spouse doesn't survive, it goes to our kids in equal shares. Well, there's no guarantee whatsoever that the kids are going to get what goes to the surviving spouse. So that's a wake-up call on doing your estate plan. One way to get started is to give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. We offer all our listeners here on the Professional Edge a free consultation to see what we can do to help them get their estate plan in force and effect. There's a lot of downloadable documents on the internet, but as the adage goes, you get what you pay for. So if it's free, well, you get free legal documents. And I'm not sure I'm going to plan my estate with free legal documents. So again, that number 877-654-9798. So what's the other plan for your estate plan? Well, we have certain things which are not controlled by your estate planning documents, and that would be titles on property. Well, we got to look and pull your deed to your real estate to see exactly how you title it. And I sit down with individuals and they say, well, I know it's in my name, or it's in joint name, or it's joint tenants with right of survivorship, or tenancy by the entirety. And they just look at me, and or I even say, is it tenants in common? They're like, does it matter? Yes, it definitely matters when you're planning your estate, whether you have legal title to that asset to actually control the ultimate disposition upon your passing. Because if we just have joint tenants, then one half of that ownership is in the first spouse to pass away. So they can actually dictate that that goes to their children in equal shares. So now the children and the surviving spouse are co-owners of that home. So that's one way. Or you may say, oh, I leave the house to my kids, and therefore they're going to be assured that they're going to get half of that value, but let's say the title is joint tenant right of survivorship. So inside the will, you're thinking that the house is going to be one half owned by the kids and one half owned by the surviving spouse, but lo and behold, title on that real estate matters. So if it's joint tenant right of survivorship, it doesn't matter what your last will and testament says, because the legal title controls, and by operation of law, then the joint tenant owner actually receives that property. So in your mind, you think the kids are going to receive one half with the surviving spouse. That's not going to be the case because joint tenant right of survivorship supersedes what your estate planning document says, and therefore the surviving spouse is going to own 100% of that home, and they can dispose of it, and they can also sign a new deed with their new spouse, joint tenant right of survivorship. Guess what happens? The surviving spouse of the first marriage passes away. That joint tenant's going to receive that house lock, stock, and barrel. There is no legal requirement to split any of those proceeds, give any of those proceeds to the children of the first marriage. So that's why we say, let's not do this planning on your own. It has consequences when you do things wrong. You wouldn't think for a second to go down to Home Depot or Lowe's and grab a Dremel drill to fill a filling. But for some reason you think, estate planning documents, it's just words on a piece of paper, but words have consequences. So before you make that mistake, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again is 877-654-9798. So that's where title matters on real estate. But think about this too, a payable on death account. Well, sometimes people do napkin planning, and again, that is somewhere in Reader's Digest, they heard about adding a person to a bank account. And then that way, if something happens to mom, then the one child can access that account and be able to pay bills for mom in case something happens. Well, you know what? By operation of law, when mom passes away, that account is the sole ownership of that child who is named on the account. So if the estate planning document says I want all my stuff divided equally between my kids, and lo and behold, mom's sitting on $300,000 in her bank account, and the oldest child is named with mom on that bank account just in case mom can't access or we need access to those monies when mom goes into a nursing home or mom is just tired of paying bills, so the oldest child is on that account. Well, when mom passes away, it does not matter what the last will and testament says. Divide equally among the three children. The oldest child can just look at them and say, stick the tongue out at them and say, this is mine, all $300,000. There's actually nothing the other two siblings can do because by operation of law, again, the title on that account matters. So the oldest child would receive the $300,000 bank account and then be entitled to 1/3 of what is controlled by the last will and testament when mom passes away. So these are significant things on what is your plan. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. I appreciate you listening to The Professional Edge. We're going to have more coming up on the next episode, so stay tuned. Again, to make that free complimentary appointment, call 877-654-9798. With the advent of Zoom, we can assist clients all throughout the lower 48. We don't have a client in Alaska or Hawaii, but the lower 48 works as well. Stay tuned. We have more coming up here on The Professional Edge.
We've all thought about it. Everyone listening will need one. Not having one can cause untold heartache, family conflict escalating to the point of a lawsuit. One simple thing that avoids all that? An effective estate plan. As a practicing tax attorney, Todd with Estate Management Counselors has completed over 1,000 estate plans during his 15 years of professional practice. He can help you implement an effective estate plan, coordinate your financial accounts, and make sure you have named the proper beneficiaries to maximize your tax savings. Call 877-654-9798 today and let tax attorney Todd help you implement an effective estate plan. Call 877-654-9798 today. As a tax attorney, CPA for over 15 years, Todd has implemented over 1,000 individual estate plans. He has recently authored an especially helpful guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan. This guide has helped many individuals to understand the benefits of an estate plan and how to avoid unintended disasters. has made every attempt to write this in plain English. To receive this valuable guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan, call 1-877-654-9798 and request your complimentary copy today, or by emailing your request to info@emcadvisors.net.